I would love to see your beautiful faces and let me know where you're calling in from, where you're joining in from live. We've had a global kind of participation this year. I mean, we always do, but it just feels so dynamic, which I love to see. So go in the chat. I'm just going to check that my live stream is going, and it is. And for some reason, off over to one side, but y'all can see me. And I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to things off here in a moment. For those of you joining in, my name is Andrea Jones. I'm a social media and marketing strategist, and I'm excited today to talk all about Instagram and the Instagram bootcamp. Probably here because you're ready to kickstart your Instagram, you want to jumpstart it, you want to revive it, or maybe you've been using Instagram for a while and you just want a different, better way to use it. Whatever way you have been using it so far is not working for you. And so you're ready for something new, something a little bit different. And so I would love to talk to y'all about that today. I see Sarah. Hey, Sarah, my audio is weird again. What the heck? This happened to me last time. Did that do anything? Hi, hello. Testing, testing. I have no idea why this keeps doing this. Hey, from Philly. Hey, Jill. Can y'all hear me before I get things really kicked off? Let me know in the chat, yay or nay, if you can hear me, if you can see me. Is my audio still glitchy? Sometimes you're fine and sometimes you're not. I think that helps, Sarah. Well, I'm just going to keep going. And we'll just, hope for the best. Fingers crossed. You know what I'll do too is I'm going to close some of these tabs. Y'all know I always have a bunch of tabs open. It looks like it helped. Okay, sound good now. Thank you. Hey, Jill, tuning in from NYC. Nice and sunny today. Lovely to see you. All right, so we're talking about Instagram. And today we're talking about how to find our people on Instagram. This is a question that I get a lot because, yes, we want to create content and yes, we want our messaging to be dialed in, but also we have the reason that we're here is for our people to find our people. Thank you, Jemmy. The audio is better. And Sarah says, you're keeping me company while I'm doing the tedious task of untangling lace yarn for a client's project. Sarah, that does sound very tedious. And yeah, so we're here because we're learning about Instagram. Y'all are here because maybe you feel guilty because you wasted your time, quote unquote, on Instagram, or you open the app and you're scrolling and scrolling, and then suddenly you're like, why am I here? I'm supposed to be working. Or you feel that visceral response when you get an Instagram notification. If all of those things happen to you, raise your virtual hand. You are not alone. Today, we're going to cover how to use Instagram Reels to draw in new audiences. And no, you do not have to dance. You do not have to use trends. We're going to talk about how to use Instagram Reels in a way that works for you. And so we'll talk about how to do that. I'm also going to help you start building real connections on Instagram. Okay. We're not just liking every single post for the sake of it. We're not doing the follow unfollow game. We're actually building a community of potential clients and customers. And yes, you're going to be putting yourself out there on the app. I have a fun analogy that I'm going to go through. If you've been hanging out here with me for a while, then you may have heard this analogy before. And ultimately, we want to grow your audience. We want to grow your community. We want you to have people that are excited to see your content. Okay. And Sarah says, there's a reason I turned off IG notifications. Yeah, I, for the most part, do not have them on as well. Sometimes I turn them back on depending on where I'm at, but for the most part, I'm a notification free girly. And I think that it's important to note in the way that I talk about social media and the philosophies and what I believe in about social media. Because yes, I'm a social media strategist, but as I mentioned earlier this week, I have a lot of boundaries around social media, and it really helps me be able to leverage social media as a tool and not be dragged by all of the notifications. I also believe that social media is meant to be social. Okay, social media is meant to be social. The word social comes first. Okay, social, then media, social media. Social media is different than a billboard. It's different than a radio ad. It's different than a mailer or a flyer because it is a two-way conversation. You have the unique opportunity to actually speak to your potential clients and customers, which we've never had before in the history of the world. To have this level of access has never been granted to business owners before. If you think about it, prior to social media, we were very limited to our local community, literally our neighbors. Now we can have connection and community from people around the world. I also believe that you can find your own way to show up online. I'm going to show you some of the ways today that you can do that, but I want to emphasize that when you're navigating social media, you can find your own way. You don't have to put your face on the camera. You don't even have to record video if you don't want to, or you can if you want to. So we're going to talk about how to make those decisions ultimately. I was working with a client earlier today, and he said he's like, "I will never do video. I don't want to be on video." And I'm like, "Great, that's fine. I love that boundary for you, and we can still find a way to show up online in a very thoughtful way, in a very unique way, in a very ease-filled way that doesn't require your face on the camera." So there's other ways to do this, but if you're like me, I'm a talker. If y'all can tell, I'm a talker. So put me in front of a mic, put me in front of a camera, I can go. But then ask me to write a blog post, and there's crickets, blank screen. I'm staring at a cursor. I don't know what words are anymore. And so really, you're leaning into your own strengths here. All right. So my favorite analogy to use with social media is that social media is a lot like dating. Okay, it's a lot like dating. Dating can go any number of ways, okay? You can say, I'm gonna put myself out there, I'm gonna get on all the apps, I'm gonna tell my friends, or you could sit at home and wait for someone to come find you. You can get all dressed up, sit at home and say, I hope I run into someone. I hope the Amazon delivery guy is cute, or I hope that my Uber Eats meal delivery person at me. Um, you could do that, or again, put yourself on the apps, put yourself out there. This to me is a lot like what social media is. Some of us, we get all dressed up, we make sure our content is all pretty, and then we sit and we wait, and we're literally waiting for our clients to come to us. And there are ways that we can show them that we're available and that we are ready for this. I also want to note that social media is not like speed dating. Okay, there is a time and a place for that. I think networking is a lot more like speed dating than social media is. Social media to me is like going to a coffee shop or going to a bar or going to a book club and you're meeting cool people. Okay, you're just putting yourselves in situations to strategically meet new people and then see where things take you, right? I think that social media is a lot like that. You have your open sign on, you're ready, you're interested, you're putting yourself out there and you're making yourself available for new opportunities. I think it's really important to make that distinction when it comes to social media. Sarah says, I'm a writer, give me a blog post and I'm happy. Ask me to talk and you either get an absolute nerd out on something or panic blabbing. You know what, Sarah? I would take a nerd out on something or panic blabbing. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially, I know you're a teacher of the crafts, yarn and knitting and crocheting and etc. Your people may appreciate the panic blabbing or the nerd out, but also there's so many other ways that you can communicate your skill set without having to talk. Which we'll talk about today. The other thing I want to remind you too is that growth happens incrementally. Okay, growth, it's baby steps. We're not being the person who like makes eye contact and then rushes up to that person and goes, "You're the one. We're gonna be together forever." Like, yes, that can happen potentially, but for most of us, if someone like made eye contact with me in a Starbucks and ran up to me and said that, I'd be like, "This is weird. No, thank you." Um, I call this the social media booty call. Okay, the social media booty call. We're not doing booty calls here. Okay, we are having a relationship, and real relationships take time. They take time. I think of have y'all ever got these messages from the MLM girlies? I hope none of the MLM girlies are watching this video right now. But it feels to me like such an aggressive, like, step to have someone I haven't talked to in 10 years DM me and then immediately start selling me whatever, Tupperware. It's aggressive, right? It's aggressive. Say no to social media booty calls and let's actually build relationships that last and have some time. I think I'm gonna record a video on social media booty calls later today. So y'all check that out on my Instagram. All right, so let's talk about the strategy next. As always with our Instagram bootcamp, we cover 3 distinct sections of Instagram. We're going to talk about strategy, we're going to talk about mindset, and we're going to talk about habits today. So, the strategy piece is we're going to talk about Instagram Reels and why Instagram Reels works for helping people find you. Okay. This is important. There's a whole history here that's important behind Instagram Reels, and it starts with TikTok. TikTok changed the landscape of micro video content. How many of y'all watching right now are on TikTok? Let me know. I am a TikTok fan, but it happened very regrettably and slowly. I remember when we were in the pandemic, 2020, March 2020, we had the 2 weeks to crush the curb moment, which turned into 2 years here in Canada, but that's neither here nor there. We had that moment, and I logged into TikTok for the first time and immediately was served a video with sound on, mind you. And it felt very aggressive. I hadn't even created an account or followed anyone. And so I exited the app and I didn't open it for a month. And then I realized it was my job and I started navigating the app and I realized there's a lot to TikTok that literally changed how social media is run today. The very first thing is that TikTok simplified video creation. Okay, TikTok simplified video creation. There hasn't been an app up until TikTok launch where you could record and edit and post all within the same app. This actually changed the fabric of how we run social media. Prior to TikTok, we had Vine. Y'all remember Vine? And of course, we have YouTube. Okay, so those are big video consumption apps. However, even with YouTube, you are recording and editing your video somewhere else, like an Adobe or an iMovie or something like that, and then you have to upload it to YouTube. And if you don't have the skills to edit in those apps, well, then you're out of luck and you're not uploading a video. Whereas with TikTok, they had an in-app video recording and editing tool that changed how other apps are being developed to this day. Okay, now a lot of apps like your Instagram, your Facebook Reels, even YouTube Shorts now, you can film and edit all within the same app now. Okay, just as I remember Vine. Oh, the days of Vine. Even the top Vine creators at the time were filming and editing in separate apps and then uploading to Vine. I mean, they only had a couple seconds anyways, but there wasn't an in-app editor, and so TikTok changed all of that. The other thing is that TikTok is a content discovery engine. It's a content discovery engine. So when we think about TikTok, you log in, the algorithm, that's the robot behind the scenes, immediately delivers you content. Okay. You don't just say what you like. The robot, the algorithm, I call him Mr. Owl. Okay. Mr. Owl is going to guess based on your user behavior what kind of content that you want to see. We didn't really experience that in social media up until this point. There were certain apps where you can like put in your likes and dislikes, and then it would try to find content on the internet for you. But TikTok, you don't even have to put in your likes and dislikes. It just assumes it based on your behavior. This is a good thing for business owners because as a business owner, you can have 0 followers, upload a video to TikTok, and see instant success. Right? You can have 0 followers, upload a video to TikTok, people are watching it, they're liking it, they're commenting, and they're sharing. And this hasn't been done before on apps. Prior to TikTok as well, y'all remember Facebook, Instagram, even X back in the day, formerly known as Twitter. Um, we would follow the people we want to follow, and yeah, the algorithm would kind of mix the posts up and weight them based on our user behavior, but we weren't discovering new content that way. We had to have a friend send us a video, or even that Twitter post, the Ellen DeGeneres selfie that went viral back in the day. If you didn't follow Ellen, or if you didn't follow someone else who followed Ellen, you may have missed that photo. Okay. Now, whether you follow that person or not, you're going to see that content in your feed. And this is because of TikTok. Now we see content discovery on apps like Instagram. TikTok also really pushed forward the viral challenges and reels. So because content creation is simplified, because content discovery is the engine behind the scenes, it's a lot easier for things to go viral, for trends to go viral. When we think about the kind of content people are creating, it's a lot easier for any old person to jump onto a trend and create that sort of content and post it. And then because we all like community and having insular language, if we see a trend we like, we're more likely to consume that video, and it's like a self-perpetuating model. It's actually built into the TikTok and kind of like our social media prowess now. What word am I thinking of? It's kind of built into like the way that we use social media to kind of echo each other. It's part of how we use social media. Someone uses a trend or a certain style of video, and we copy that, and that's okay in a lot of instances. And it feels like you're part of that group. Lastly, anyone can get famous. Anyone can have virality. It opens the door to anyone. And this is what I call the TikTok effect. The TikTok effect has these four things: simplified video creation, content discovery, viral trends and challenges, and anyone can be famous. All right. And so when we take this concept and we apply it to micro videos, specifically Instagram reels, there are four things you want to think about when you're going to create an Instagram reel. And remember, this is because of TikTok. Number one is that your reels are discoverable. Okay. So when someone comes into your world through a reel, you want to think about this is their first impression of you. This is the first time they're seeing you. Okay. So I'm going to give you a script in a moment on how to do this, but we don't want to start off with assuming it's our followers. These are strangers. So the opportunity for you as a business owner is to create a piece of content and asset that strangers would understand. The second thing is that your video needs to be consumable. And what I mean by consumable is people not only stop on it, but they watch it start to finish. Okay. So we want people to not only start our videos, but finish our videos. If we have that completion rate, then that really helps our videos be more discoverable. Videos are also shareable. I talked about this yesterday in yesterday's session, but Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, said that the most, let's see, the highest ranking for the algorithms kind of working behind the scenes is shareable content. Specifically, if someone shares your reels in a direct message, the algorithm goes, OMG, I need to share this with as many people as possible because it's being shared to DMs. Okay. So when you create your video content, you want to think about what would make this shareable, something heartfelt, humorous, informative, things like that. One of my best friends and I, we like to share cat videos back and forth. And so for me, it's a cute cat. I can't not share it. And so that's what I'll do. All of these things the algorithm loves. It's the mechanism that decides what sees our content. And when you create your content with discoverability, consumability, and shareability in mind, then the algorithm gods will bless you with more people seeing your video. Now, a question I also get at this point is, okay, Andrea, what is the right length for a video? How do I make sure people watch it from start to finish? And you want to think about the seconds. Okay, so 58% of viewers will watch the entirety of a video if it's less than 60 seconds long, okay? Less than a minute. I know you can technically go up to 3 minutes now on Instagram Reels, but we want to keep it to less than a minute. You can even post a video that's 1 second long, but to me, those are annoying. It's a gimmick. So I want you to think about when you're creating your content, how can I deliver this in the shortest way possible? And that usually is your answer. But I also want you to dig deep into your own analytics. Oftentimes when I'm auditing accounts and I look at video trends and I see, a particular video doing well, open up the data and I look at the drop off points. People watch 50% of this video and then everyone bounced. Okay, so we want to think about that. Rachel says, love leaning into your own strength. Sarah says, the internet definitely loves cats. Whenever one of my cats interferes with my live stream, my views click up. Yes, you can have orchestrated moments if you like for that reason. And I'll talk about that in a second. But all of this is really creating an experience on social media that allows people to hear you and see your content. All right. So less than 60 seconds is what we're aiming for. Um, Instagram Reels. Again, copied from TikTok. Up to 90 seconds actually is up to 3 minutes now, and it's often shared with trending music or filters, okay? And I want you to think about the trending music or sounds and filters because this is another reason, it's almost like a human psychology reason that we like watching Instagram Reels, okay? Um, orchestrated. No, they're just furry agents that invade the studio. Yeah, Sarah, allow your little furry agents to invade the studio more. I even think you could do okay, so my dog Gibson, which you may hear him barking in the background because it's trash day and he always has to bark, when the trash, people collect it. Anyway, he's like a character on my account, and you'll see him pop up a lot in my stories. People recognize him. I've had people stop us on the street and say, "Oh, that's Gibson." Wild, right? You can create moments like these in your brand to make it memorable. And he's also part of the reason why I don't share my kids because I don't want people stopping me for that reason for my kids either. But that's neither here nor there. I want you to think about Instagram Reels based on discovery, and if you're not creating reels yet, I'm gonna give you my little spiel for why you should be creating reels, okay? One, it's a new-ish feature for Instagram. It's a priority when you think about Instagram Reels, and when you scroll through your feed, a lot of the suggested content is a reel. You probably noticed this. Even Facebook does this. TikTok is mostly suggested content. It's a feature that Instagram is prioritizing. Instagram Reels are being shown to users who do not follow you, which is a very unique opportunity as a business owner. You have the opportunity for your content to be seen by people who have no clue who you are, and you don't have to create a new account for this. Okay, so it's not like you have to go to another app or create a new account for this. Okay, you can create Reels right within the Instagram app. I will add a caveat to this too that the Instagram just came out with Instagram Edits app. Who here has used the Instagram Edits app? Have you used it yet? Yes or no? I would highly recommend using that app versus Instagram's in-app editor. They just launched it earlier this year. It is a direct competitor to CapCut if you've been using that app. Great for recording and editing video on your mobile device. And it's free and it's made by Instagram, so it's really easy to create there, post to Instagram. They also allow you to post other places too, and it has the audios built into it, so you don't have to search through Instagram's app. You can use the Instagram Edits app. It's called Edits in the App Store. All right, friends, let's talk about filming a video. Now, this example I'm going to use, this formula I'm going to use can be applied to a talking head video, which is the kind that I tend to do on social media, or you can also do it for B-roll video. I talked about this yesterday as well, but I have a whole course called Be Your Own B-roll. It's only, I think it's $12. $17. It's not that expensive, but I talk a lot about how to use B-roll so you don't have to have your face on the camera. I put that link in the chat as well. And then if you are in the lab, I also have scripts for all of these. And I'll talk more about how you can join the lab at the end of today's session. Here's the formula. You want to start off with a hook, okay? Remember, these videos are going out to people who do not know us. They don't know who we are. So we're not going to start off with welcome back or hey y'all or okay, so I was saying the other day, like all of those things, unless you mean them to be a hook, generally speaking, are you're talking to people who already know you. I want to assume they don't know you. So start with a hook. Anything tantalizing, think like BuzzFeed article style. We don't have to go that extreme, but here are the three things that you need to ask before booking your first therapy appointment. Or this one piece of advice changed the way that I think about planting tomatoes. Whatever the case may be, we want to think about why would someone watch this whole video? Give them a reason why. Then you want to introduce yourself. And in previous years, when I teach this session, I would say, hi, my name is Andrea Jones. I'm a social media strategist, and I've been doing this for over a decade. But I think in today's day and age, we want to give a qualifier here. Okay, so if I were creating a video about therapy, right? So here are the three questions you want to ask a therapist before booking your first therapy appointment. And I would say, I would know because I have been a therapist for 25 years and working with, clients, especially with PTSD or whatever the case may be, right? Like, add your qualifiers in there. And then we wanna get into the talking points. This is the meat and potatoes of your video. This is where you're gonna spend most of your time in the video, is give us the reason why we could do this, and then we wanna end with a call to action. And the call to action should be fairly light. Okay, remember, these people don't know you. Remember, we're just getting into the dating game, so we're not going to jump right into like, hey, want to come home with me? We're going to keep it light, and we're going to say, maybe you could follow for more, which could be like, hey, let's keep in touch. Let's exchange numbers, or download my free resource, or send me a DM so we can start a conversation. Really, this should be your next step. On day one of the challenge, we talked a lot about the difference between the last step and the next step. Go back to that day if you need a refresher on that topic. All right. If you're in the Mindful Marketing Lab, I have scripts and templates for all of these, especially hooks. Hooks seems to be the thing that trips people up the most. And so I have all of these for you already in the lab. They will be linked below this video with the replay as well. All right, here's another tip for Reels. Make sure that you use audio whenever you can. When you're in your Instagram Reels, when you're scrolling through the Reels tab, so they're in Instagram, there's a separate tab for Reels. When you swipe up, you see this save button. You want to save these Reels so that you can come back to them later and use them in your content. Okay, so how I usually do it is when I'm going through and doing my 10 to 15 minutes on Instagram, I will then save the audios or the sounds for later into a collection, and then I'll be able to use that audio whenever I go to record some content. Now, again, if you're in the lab, we have the shortcut for you. I have over 100 sounds and audios that we've hand selected for you that will also be linked with this video, but it's only for members. So if you're a member, you'll get it. If not, I'll tell you more about how you can become a member at the end of this live training. Let's get on to our characters. Y'all remember our characters from this week? Kanisha is a therapist and a coach, and she really likes talking. So she's going to do a face-to-camera video, and she's actually going to share the exact same content she posted last week. So last week she wrote it as a post. This week she's going to share it as a talking head video. Aria will not be on camera and will never be on camera. She hates being on camera. If you ask her to be on camera, she would rather throw her whole computer in the trash can. And so she is going to take her phone and point it at her screen and show her work. She's working on a new design. She's going to point it at the screen and literally show you that new design. So her face is not on the camera at all, but she's still using Instagram Reels and videos as a part of her strategy. Lastly, we have Darius. Darius is fine with video, but he honestly doesn't have time to record. And so he just created something quick in Canva that's really just the calm ocean video in the background, and he has some text over top. This exact video is also in the Mindful Marketing Lab. Of course, we'll have the links with this video as well. All right, let's show some real world examples of this. This is my client, Linda. I love Linda's account, by the way. Let me actually put her link in the chat. I love using her as an example because she does not have a lot of followers, y'all. She has, last I checked, less than 3,000, and she gets amazing results from her videos because they're so personable. Okay, they're so personable. So I'm going to put her link in the chat so you can check out her content. This video, as you can see, she's in her car. Okay, she's in her car, but there are a few things that work for this video. One, she's talking passionately about a topic that she believes in. Okay, the topic we know does really well because we've seen spikes in interest when we talk about this topic on her account, specifically people who are gaslit in their workplace. Okay, so this is something that Linda talks about a lot. In this particular video, though, she's in her car, and here are the results. She got over 76,000 people reached with this one video alone. And you'll see that most of those accounts do not follow her. And this is the beauty of Instagram Reels specifically, is this content is going out to people who do not follow you. Okay, non-followers, over 75% or 75,000 people did not follow her. So imagine when you're creating this content, you're creating for people who do not follow you, okay? All right, next, let's talk about showing your face on camera. Do I have to show my face on camera? The answer is no. This example is from one of my past clients who is a little not safe for work, so I'm not going to link to them, but they're a sex positivity brand for specifically Black and Brown people. And one of the things that we learned through working with them is that, again, they're fine with being on camera, but they really don't have the time to be on camera. So we gamified their content by creating these reels in Canva, mind you, that really create an experience that people want to engage with. Okay, they want to engage with. So you'll see one that's like, take a screenshot of, and we have several things rotating on the screen. Or we have a list of words popping up, and it's like, which word do you relate to? Or we have a spinning wheel, and they're telling us what the wheel stops on when they take a screenshot or when they press pause. Okay, all of these things are great ways that you can show and share video without your face being on the camera. All right, and Sarah, I'm going to pick on you again because I picked on you yesterday. You have so many options when you're thinking about your work, and the work that you do is very visual that I would really strongly encourage you to do more video in your content. It can even be simple things like videos of you touching yarn or just doing one stitch, showing off your different tools that you use, your crochet hooks, for example. I would love a video on the difference between metal hooks and plastic hooks because I have both and I just pick them randomly. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so there's so many things that you can do where the camera is on your hands or even on your craft and you are not in the video. Okay. So it doesn't have to be you in the video. Me and myself, I find the fastest way to create video is talking. So that's what I do. All right. Let's talk about creating impact through connection. So we talked about creating impact through content. So the Instagram Reels placement is one of those placements that really helps people find you. And I'll talk more about this tomorrow when we put it all together in our social media sales funnel class on how this all plays together. But let's talk specifically about how to connect with your people. Because remember, social media is social first, and we're kind of putting ourselves out there when we're on social media. And so I want you to think about different ways that you can connect with this. The first way is your current followers. I want you to think about your current followers and who you follow and find ways to connect with them further. What I like to do with this, I'll have the recipe in a moment. People who post in targeted hashtags. So hashtag, I don't know, crocheters for life, hashtag mental health rocks, whatever the case may be. People who engage with your posts. So every time someone likes or comments on your post, see if it's a potential connection. Competitors followers is a great place to start. Go and look at the companies who have your exact clients and customers. And social media, again, is one of those places where you really can see everything, right? It's not really hidden like it is with other platforms. Like on YouTube, for instance, I can't go to someone's YouTube channel and see who all their subscribers are, but I can do that on Instagram. I can go on Instagram and see who the followers are very cleanly. And so that's something that you want to consider in your research. You can look at other industry leaders, so non-competing industry leaders. So Sarah, you're top of mind for me today. So I'm going to keep using you as an example. So Sarah, y'all, it does education for people who want to crochet or knit and things like that. And so while she can look at other like crochet educators, she can also look at people who are crafters as well, because once you start one craft, you do them all, right? And so you want to look at people who felt, you want to look at people who paint, you want to look at people who create all sorts of things with their content, all right? And so really create kind of a broad, Sarah, what have I done? You have become my example for today. Sarah, this question about hashtags, I'm going to talk about at the end, okay? So remind me if I don't get to it, that's a great question. You also can look at certain locations. I do this a lot with industry events. It's because When people go to an industry event, like a conference or a trade show, they're oftentimes posting a lot of content while they're at that event. So even if I'm not there, I know that my people are there, right? I did this with a podcasting event a lot. I used to work with a lot of podcasters. And so if you're a podcaster, you're going to Podcast Movement or Podfest or She Podcasts, um, all of whom were my clients at some point, then you probably are like posting and tagging when you're going to that event. And you probably would want to be in my world because I talk a lot about marketing for podcasters. And so there's a huge opportunity for you to connect with people who are like tagging themselves in certain locations. So what do we do with this? How do we engage? Well, I want you to use what I call the savvy engagement recipe, which has a couple of ingredients. The first one is a like. And again, if we're relating this to dating, the like is eye contact. Okay. It's very light. It's like barely even anything. All right. And we're doing this strategically. But if someone makes eye contact with you enough, you go, okay, let me go have a conversation with them. Right. And so a like, very light. The comment is starting the conversation. Very light conversation. It's like you're standing in line. I like your shoes. I like your shirt. Oh, I love this band song that's playing, whatever the case may be, right? This is starting the conversation. Follow is like exchanging contact details. Okay, it's like, hey, I want to get to know you further. I will warn you here though, some people like to gamify this and follow people, and then if they don't follow them back, they unfollow. I am not a huge fan of that. I mean, to each his own. If you want to do that, good on you. But I follow people who I actually want to see their content in my feed and I want to keep up with them. And so I would encourage you to do the same. We have a direct message, which is taking a conversation private. A lot of my social media engagements happen in direct messages. Okay. This is what I call dark social, also sharing and tagging as well. Dark social. These are hidden metrics that no one else sees, but they're the most important part of relationship building when it comes to using Instagram as a tool to grow your business. I spend a lot of time in my direct messages. It is a lot of sales conversations, which again start very light. I think of this as dating. I'm not going into the DM sharing dick pics. Okay. That's aggressive energy. It may work for some people, does not work for me. And so when I'm direct messaging people, I'm starting off light. It's a conversation, right? And then I stay top of mind for when they need marketing support. And then sharing and tagging goes the same way. I especially like with people who I've built relationships with, I like to share other content with them. So if I see something that I think they would like a cat video, I may share it with them as well. Jill says, yes, it drives me nuts when people do that. Yeah, we don't want to be these guys, y'all. We don't want to be these people. This hasn't happened to me in a long time, but I used to get, these are like actual comments that I screenshotted when I first did this challenge, created this challenge 5 years ago. Nobody wants these random robotic comments. And they're literally like AI tools that will go in and leave these comments for people. And it will never work for me. Like, I don't know. Lately, I've been caught up in this one. Let me know if y'all heard of this one. They will message me and say, I can get you in some magazine, like Forbes or something. All you have to do is pay me $1,000 or whatever it is, and I'll get you in Forbes. And I'm like, who is this working on? It's got to be working on someone, but I don't know you. Why would I give you money? It feels extreme to me. Anyways, so we don't want to be these people. As Sarah said in the comments, we block them, we report them as spam, right? Yes, right, Jill. It is not fun for anybody. All right, so let's get down to our characters and see how they will navigate this. So Kanisha is going to look at hashtag work problems. And Sarah, this is a great time to answer your question. So I'll get to that in a moment. But she's going to look through hashtag work problems, like, comment, engage, and specifically look for those in leadership positions so that she'll end up following them if they're aligned. Okay. Now, the caveat to this is my thoughts on hashtags. I believe hashtags are going away. Okay. Hashtags are going away. This is like one of my, tinfoil hat predictions of social media. I've been creating content online since 2004. That's 2 decades of creating content online. I've seen a lot. And what I'm seeing about hashtag is the death of the hashtag. Because honestly, the algorithms are smarter than that. They don't actually need hashtags anymore. I feel like hashtags on Instagram are there because we, as the users, the content creators, we use them. But the average everyday person, because of the discoverability of our content, we don't need hashtags anymore. You'll notice platforms like Threads, for instance, has topics instead of hashtags, and you can assign one topic to your post, but the actual hashtags going away. I've also seen people using keywords on Instagram, and they'll stuff a bunch of keywords below their content to hopefully help the algorithm categorize it. It is a tactic that works in a very small way. The most important thing to remember is the content itself. So the algorithm is looking at your video and the words that are said in the video and the words on the screen and the content of your account in general. So if you have an account on marketing, it's just going to put you in that category, even if you post about, I don't know, cats. And then it's going to look at the caption in your post as well. What does the actual caption say? Okay. Um, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. YouTube has actually gotten rid of tags. Exactly. What Sarah says, like tags are kind of going away because algorithms, the robots behind the scenes, Mr. Al, is getting smarter. Okay. However, you can still search for the term work problems, and the algorithm is going to give you videos along those lines. And Kanisha would probably also search for things like HR leaders or HR consultants, or even if she wants to collaborate with other brands, she may look for other like leadership coaches, things like that. Okay. Okay. Next. Uh, we're gonna go on to Aria. So Aria is actually going to look at this person, Bianca. Bianca is a coach for beauty brands, and Bianca creates websites for beauty brands. And so Aria is going to look at Bianca and go, "We should be friends." She's also going to look at Bianca's followers. She has over 10,000 followers, and probably look through there to see other people she can connect to. And she's going to look at the top couple of posts that Bianca has posted and look at who's liking and commenting on those posts and see who she can connect with there. Okay. So it's putting yourself in front of these people, but not in an aggressive, like, buy my stuff kind of way. And this is Darius. Darius is going to look at hashtag dentist life, or he could just search for the word dentist, specifically going to reels. And he is actually going to share those reels to his stories because he wants other dentists to see an example of what's possible, especially if the content is super relatable. Okay. So I want you to remember a few things about this. I want you to, when you're commenting on videos, to comment as if you're posting. I get this question a lot. What do I say, Andrea? Just comment as if you're posting and think about all the people who would look at the comment, not the creator. Here's an example of one I posted last year. I still get likes on this comment, y'all. I should actually go look now. The video itself was a reaction video. I don't even know if I want to say what it is because okay, I'll say what it is. Y'all don't judge me, okay? The video is a reaction video of one of the creators I follow, and she was reacting to another video of a guy eating a papaya in a very suggestive way, if you know what I mean. And I just commented, I wasn't expecting to see this on my feed on a Thursday morning. And y'all, 11,000 likes later. And honestly, I still get notifications from this comment. And I'm like, what is even happening right now? 11,000 people seeing your brand from a comment is wild, right? And so I want you to think about when you're commenting to comment as a brand. There are a couple brands that do this really well. The one that comes to mind is Duolingo, the language learning app. They do a very good job of this on TikTok, and it's actually part of being on TikTok is people love to see like brands commenting on certain videos. And so we want to see a brand's perspective as the like nosy lurker in the comments. Okay. So when you're commenting on videos, it's not just for the creator of the video, it's also for all the rest of us who are lurking in the comments. All right, so we talked about strategy. Let's talk about mindset. Let's talk about those doubt gremlins that can pop up sometimes. You can do hard things. You can do hard things. Life is hard. It's always going to be hard. And I think, yes, it can feel challenging to show up like this on social media, but it also can feel challenging to not have a business that's growing, right? And so I want you to think about that. You get to choose your heart, right? Not showing up means people won't see, won't understand your message. People don't know who you are. They don't know your business. So you can choose how you want to move forward with this, but I want you to know that it is going to be a learning curve. I always use the example here of learning to roller skate. Y'all, I'm still learning to roller skate, okay? I know how to rollerblade, like the 4 in a row, but like the quad skates, I'm like a little baby giraffe, like who's just learning how to walk. And I started roller skating before I had kids. It was like one of my pandemic hobbies. And I know my neighbors are looking at me like, what is she doing? But when y'all see my roller skating videos in 2 years, you are going to see the hard work manifest itself. So yeah, it's hard work, but it's fun, right? And so think about how you can have fun with this too. Lean into your own strengths, lean into your own preferences, and remember that you're a human connecting with other humans. Okay. Some people are ready to commit after one date, one conversation. They're like, this is it. I don't need anyone else. And some people need to be wooed first. A lot of people do. A lot of people need the process of building trust with you, of building a relationship with you. And that's the beauty of social media. We have the opportunity to build that trust and relationships with people in a way that doesn't require us to be physically in their presence all the time. Okay, so that's the mindset. Let's go on to habits as we wrap up today. Oh, big question here that I always get is this sounds like a lot of work, Andrea. This sounds like a lot of work, Andrea. This sounds like it's going to take a long time, Andrea. What do I do about that? And so I want to give you this suggestion, which is to spend 10 to 20 minutes a day engaging on social media. I want to give you a time limit, not an input limit. Okay, time versus input. A lot of people, when they go into this, go, I want to connect with 10 new people every day. And that's great and all. If you are advanced and you know how much time it takes to connect with 10 people, go for it. But if you're starting out with something new, give yourself a time limit, okay? Because the first time you do it is going to be learning. And so typically I recommend 10 to 20 minutes per day per platform. Okay. And then this can scale up as you have a team and if you kind of get more people to support you with this, but 10 minutes per day per platform. The first couple of times you do it, you may only find one new person to connect with or two new people. Or it can go up and down with your energy level. Sometimes I'm like really social. I find a bunch of people that I like. And then sometimes I go into it and I'm like, ugh, I don't like any of these posts. I have nothing to say. Okay. Give yourself the time guardrail instead of the input guardrail. But I do suggest having guardrails. I had someone last year ask me, they said, what about my ADHD brain? I don't like time limits. And so my suggestion for that is if you don't like time limits, habit stack. Okay. Habit stack. So maybe you're doing this while you're also watching your favorite Netflix show. Or maybe you are, on your stationary bike and you're doing this or listening to a podcast and networking on Instagram. Okay. So give yourself a time limit. Sarah says, I use a timer on my social media or else I realize I've been doom scrolling in the name of research. Yeah, absolutely. And it gives you focus too. It's clear business time. Because y'all, I spend a lot of time on social media, but there's a very different energy when I'm working and when I'm just chilling watching TikTok videos. All right. So give yourself that time limit. All right, let's take action. Oh no, I don't want you to just sit nicely and watch me talk about social media. No, no, no. We're going to actually do something today. If you're in the lab, our video recording will be posted with your homework. And when you submit your homework, you have the opportunity to win prizes every single week, every single day this week. If you submit your homework, you will get swag. Okay, you will get swag if you submit your homework every single day. So your homework today, whether you are in the lab or not, is to take action. Okay, complete an action designed to connect with someone new. Now, when I say complete an action, I don't mean it has to be as high level as sending a DM. You can send a DM, go for it. But to send the DM, you have to know who you're sending it to and what you're going to say and what your goal even is. All of those count as actions. Okay. You could just plan to research some potential people to DM. You could look at different keywords in your industry. You could look at events where people are checking in. You could start collecting people. You could do some competitor research, some industry research. All of those things count as actions. Okay? It doesn't have to be send a DM, doesn't have to be follow or like or comment. But I want us today, while it's top of mind, to complete an action and submit it with your homework in the Mindful Marketing Lab. And make sure you submit your homework as well, because I'll be looking through and giving feedback and cheering you along the way. And if you are not in the lab, well, now's the time to come on in and join us. It is actually the final year that I'll be enrolling in the Mindful Marketing Lab. And for that, I have farewell pricing at 50% off the lab. You get all of our courses, yes, including the entire Instagram Savvy course, where I actually walk through and show you and screen share each of these ways to connect with people. And I show you in the course how I use voice message DMs. It's actually in the course. That's Instagram course. I have LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, and more. And y'all also get my custom GPTs. I've been building custom GPTs for everything. I think we have over 12 of them now in the program. And I'm going to be adding more all year long. I've got more bonuses all year long because it is our final year of the Mindful Marketing Lab. Lastly, because it is our final year of the lab, you will automatically get access to my next project, which I'm launching on Black Friday, with your membership. So you don't have to pay anything extra. You'll just be grandfathered into the next thing that I'm creating, which I'm so excited about. So make sure you're in the lab for that. Here's what's waiting for you with this particular bootcamp. I am auditing everyone who participates in the bootcamp's account. All you have to do is comment on the post that says you want the audit with a link to your account. And on Friday, I'm going to be spending all day auditing your account. Okay, we're going to do a special co-working session as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Every year, I'm like, this is so much work. And it's also just really insightful to see how everyone's doing on Instagram. I only ask that you complete day one of the homework, but you can go ahead and submit it anyways. Last year, we had a bunch of people submit. I just end up repeating myself from day one stuff. But if you do day one, submit your homework, I'll do your audit. Next week on October 21st, Julie O'Hare is doing Instagram ads strategy session, which is amazing. If you want to do anything with ads, come to Julie's session. She actually did a whole course on ads as well. In the membership, you have a chance to win one-on-one strategy sessions with me. If you submit your homework every day, I'll also be giving swag out in those daily support threads. And all of that you have to submit by October 31st. So you don't have to do the homework every single day this week. You do need to submit your homework by 31st to be eligible for the one-on-one call and the swag. All right, it's Q&A time. Y'all know how much I love Q&A time. It's like my favorite time of the whole session. So if you're new, here are the rules. There's no such thing as a silly question, a wrong question, a question that's too specific. All questions are welcome. And even if you don't have a question, sometimes listening to the answers of someone else's question can spark a new insight or inspiration for you. So pop those questions in the chat while y'all are typing in your questions. Tomorrow, we have our Instagram sales funnel class. And this is kind of tying all the pieces together for what we've learned about this week. How do we know we're attracting the right people? How can we tell if we're nurturing them? How do we know if they're close to converting? And then what happens after we make the sale? I'll talk about all of that tomorrow so that you really understand how your social media and your Instagram works as a sales funnel. And then on Friday, I'm doing member-only audits at 1 p.m. I will be doing them all day, actually, but 1 p.m. we're doing a co-working session, and you can ask questions there, follow-up questions about your Instagram, and get more support from me as you're working through everything. And then October 31st is the deadline for prizes. All right, questions in the chat. Jill has a question. How long should reels be? And Jill, this is such a great question. I don't have an answer for you as far as seconds go, but the stats say that 58% of viewers like videos to be less than 60 seconds. Now, I'll say this too. People keep saying attention spans are short, and they are short. They're shorter than they ever have been. And also, we consume more content than we ever have. All right. Think about binging something on Netflix, right? We don't just watch like one episode or even one season of something. We watch seasons and seasons and seasons. And when we have time, we watch a lot. It's just that there's a lot of competition out here. And so when you're creating your reels, Jill, I want you to think about how can you create this in the shortest way possible. And then once you nail your rhythm for that, figure out how you can not just get people to start the video, but complete the video. And Jill, with the work that you're doing as well, hooks are going to be so important because it feels very much like I talked about this yesterday, but eating your vegetables. okay? A lot of times in marketing, sometimes we're like, eat your vegetables, and people don't really want to be like reminded of the things they're not doing. And so we want to kind of craft an experience for them where they go, I'm eating vegetables, I didn't even realize it. All right. So for you, it would be less like, you should meditate. And it would be more like, do you find yourself completely overwhelmed by the end of your workday and you still have to go home and like take care of your kids and your household? Then I have one tool that will really help you. And it could be like an end of day meditation, right? So you really want to frame the video of like, here's where you are, here's your hook. And then here's how I can help you. Here's why I know this information. Here's my expertise with all of this. And here's how this one little thing can help you. And then, they'll be in your world and they'll want to follow you because you're amazing at what you do, right? I love that question. Thank you so much, Jill. And thanks everyone for joining me here today. Tomorrow, I'll kick things off with our Instagram sales funnel. Same time, same place. I'll see you then. Thank you, everyone.